Hey, what's going on, guys? Here's another video. This is my Immortal Collection. Immortal's a black metal band from Norway. It started in 1991. In 1991 and in 1991, they released two releases. Their first demo and an EP, which was hard to get for a while, but recently Hell's Headbangers put that out on vinyl, and they're both sounding really good. I listened to it. I don't know if it was on Spotify or Bandcamp or whatever, but I think I really want to pick that up. They're both very solid first releases. It's pretty cool that Hell's Headbangers did that. They always have good stuff. But anyway, in 1992, they released their first full-length, Diabolical Full Moon Mysticism. This is a solid first full-length. The vocals are excellent. The tone is awesome. The production is on point. That being said, some of the songs are just kind of like mid-tempo and boring. It starts off strong with Call of the Winter Moon, and then like the last song is really cool, A Perfect Vision of the Rising Northland. But a lot of the songs, Unholy Forces of Evil is good too, but a lot of the songs in the middle are just kind of pretty boring, mid-tempo. But it's a solid release. You know, I don't regret owning it. I'd probably give it I'd give it a 7 out of 10. It's, you know, it's a historical marker for their career. And then in the next year, in 1993, they released Pure Holocaust. This is probably my favorite by them. I love this album from front to back. I love just how, not to sound cliche, but like icy this whole album is. I like how like frantic Abbott strumming is too. Yeah, it's some strong songwriting, super ahead of its time as far as the brutality and everything. But it's also atmospheric as well. Short listen, but just excellent all around. I'd give this easily a 9, maybe even a 9.5 out of 10. It's the best in their discography, no doubt. After that, in 1995, they released Battles in the North, which is more of the same of Pure Holocaust, but it's a little less expansive, I would say. It's kind of like a little bit one-directional. Not that that's a bad thing, because the style they were going for back then was kind of like blasphemy, like war metal-y a little bit. And this is kind of before war metal really even existed outside of like bands like Blasphemy and like, I guess, Terrorizer and shit like that. But yeah, this album's brutal as shit. Not quite as atmospheric as Pure Holocaust, but still great. I love it front to back. It's just like the drumming is sloppy as hell at certain points, but it just adds to the atmosphere. I love how just in-your-face brutal this whole album is. His vocals are really cool too. And then you gotta love the song titles, like Circling Above and Time Before Time. Doesn't even make any sense. You know, Cursed Realms of the Winter Demons, Moonrise Fields of Sorrow. I mean, it's just like classic Immortal. It's a great album. I love it. I'd probably give it a 9 out of 10. Not quite as good as Pure Holocaust, but very close. And then after that, in 97, they released Blizzard Beasts, which a lot of people rip on. I get it. The production is very trying. It's a very short album. This is the first album with horror gun drums, too. But I really like this album. You know, Nebula Raven's Winter is great. The title track. Mountains of Might is a fucking classic. That's one of the best songs they've ever written. Winter of the Ages, Frost Demon Storm. So this is like a 28-minute album, but I like it. It's really cool. There's you can tell they're slowly getting out of their like blasphemy kind of formula, like war metal-y stuff, but I really like it for what it is. It's not as good as Battles in the North and Pure Holocaust, but it's a very solid album. So I'd give this, I'd give it like a 8 out of 10. It's a very enjoyable listen. After that, in 1999, they go full-on black metal meets heavy metal with At the Heart of Winter. So most people rank this as their best album. It's a very good album. His vocals are probably the best they've ever sounded in their entire discography on this release. I fucking love his vocals. But I will say the first 3 songs are excellent, top tier shit. And then the last 3 songs, 4, 5, and 6, are they're not bad, but they're certainly not to the level of the first three. And this is kind of how I felt with like an album like Covenant by Morbid Angel. Like the first 5 or 6 songs in that album are amazing, and then the rest are kind of like, eh. It's definitely not a super consistent album in my view, but it is very well written. There's a lot of iconic songs and riffs on here. Withstand the Fall of Time is just an absolutely amazing song. Same with Solar Fall. Tragedies blows at the horizon. I love the blast beat break in the middle and towards the end of that song. It's so fucking cool. Like I said, his vocals in this album are just fucking perfection. Like, if those last 3 songs on here were in the same vein as the first 3, this would easily be like a 9.5 out of 10. But alas, they're not. They're not bad, but they kind of aren't as interesting as the first 3. So I'd give this an 8 out of 10. Excellent album, but not as good as Pure Holocaust. So then, after that, in 2000, they released Damned in Black, which I would say up to this point is their most accessible album. Really good production on here. There's a lot of killer choruses. Triumph is excellent. My Dimension is awesome. Super thrashy song. In Our Mystic Visions Blessed is sick too. I love the riff in the middle of that and towards the end. And then Damned in Black is great too. It's a solid album. I like it. It's not as standoutish as some of their other material as far as like, you know, like Pure Holocaust or like the first half of At the Heart of Winter, but there's definitely some good moments on here. In particular Triumph and all the other songs I mentioned. It's a solid album. I'd give it an 8 out of 10. It's definitely worth having. Not their best, but solid album. And then after that, in 2002, they released Sons of Northern Darkness. Now this is an excellent, excellent album. A lot of like the purists will say, oh, this is where they sold out, or they, honestly, the purists will probably argue that At the Heart of Winter is when they sold out, but a lot of people don't like it because, you know, like when this came out, they had shirts and like Hot Topic and shit, but it's like, whatever, man. Like, fucking music's really good. The songs are fucking awesome. Now, this album unfortunately suffers from a lot from, and this is not the band's fault, but it's like, I don't listen to this that often because, like, I've heard One by One like 10 million times. I've heard Tyrants 10 million times. I've heard In My Kingdom Cold 10 million times. And again, that's not the band's fault because they are very good songs. It's just, I've heard a lot of these so many times, thanks to the internet and just like listening to this album. I think I got this when I was like, I think I was like 14, and I was obsessed with it back then. And yeah, no, this is a great album, but I will say I just don't listen to it that much because I've just fucking kind of listened the shit out of it, you know? So, I mean, Beyond the North Waves is an excellent fucking song. Within the Dark Mind is awesome. Demonium, title track. Every song in here is amazing. But like I said, I've heard a lot of the songs like just way too much. But that aside, that's not the band's fault, and that's not the song's fault at all. So I'm going to put that aside, and I'm going to say this is easily yeah, I'd say it's like an 8.5 out of 10. Really, really great album. And then after that, in 2009, they took a fucking 7-year break. They released All Shall Fall, and this copy of the CD looks horrible because I was an idiot and I ripped the fucking sticker off the front, but here it is anyway. This is a good album. I like it. It's not as strong as Sons of Northern Darkness. It might not even be as strong as Damned in Black, but it's a decent album. All Shall Fall, the title track's great. The Rise of Darkness is really good. Hordes to Wars, Total Battery Worship. Unearthly Kingdom's great. Yeah, there's a lot of good stuff on here. A lot of people don't review this that highly. I don't really understand why. I like it. You know, I think it's another solid release by Immortal. I'd get a 7.5 out of 10. And so after that, I think they broke up or something. Abbott went off to do his solo project, which is like not very good. I mean, like there's some things that are okay, but as far as comparing it to Immortal, it's not very good. And so Demon As took the reins in 2018 and released Northern Chaos Gods, with Horg still on drums. I don't own that. It's a good album. It's definitely very solid. I've listened to it a handful of times. It's very intense too. I like it a lot. I don't know. Immortal kind of like lost their magic for me just after like the band change, and I don't know. It's a very good album though. Don't get me wrong. It's definitely like a 7.5 out of 10, and I would get it if I like saw it in front of me. But as far as like kind of keeping up with Immortal at this point, it's unless they put out something that really impresses me, they're kind of like on the back burner. Because after Northern Chaos Gods in 2023, last year, they released War Against All. And I remember when they released the single for that, actually it's the title track, and it was so fucking good. I love the intensity and the blast beats and everything. I was like, oh man, this is going to be a killer fucking album. And then the album came out, and I was like, what the fuck is this? It's just more like heavy metal worship. Like if you like and like those other side projects, you might like it. But I was not really impressed with that album. There were not a lot of high moments. Like I said, the single they released, the title track, is excellent. And the rest of the album is really not that interesting to me. I don't own that, obviously. So I'd give that that's easily their weakest album so far. I'd give it... honestly, I'd give it like a 5 out of 10. It's not very good at all. So, I don't know. I mean, I don't have like a whole hell of a lot of hope for newer Immortal, but regardless, the classics are the classics. There's a reason why I own 8 albums or whatever it is by these guys. Yeah, if for some reason you haven't heard Immortal, definitely check out Immortal. Don't check out the latest album. It's garbage, but the rest of them are really good, especially Pure Holocaust. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll catch you later.